Hello friends, welcome to another edition of the Think Tank Talk. Today we're going to focus on Pakistan's perception abroad and as to whether Pakistan is a dysfunctional country, is it functioning well, partially, just because these are the questions that keep confronting us almost every day, and particularly in the recent context in which there's been talk of Pakistan to be on the brink of default and economic meltdown is the talk of the town because of the stalled talks with the IMF, regardless what happens on that front. But as a whole, the talk has been growing louder and louder about the failure of Pakistan's governance model. And this also has resulted in aberrations and problems that then seen from abroad as the signs of failing state, if not failed state. That's why we thought we should today have somebody with us who has a vast experience of conflict flashpoints across the world where there have been war, bloodshed, genocide, but then this also brings one to the invariably to a comparison between the country that that person belongs to and the country where he or she is serving. So to have a conversation on this issue, we have with us Mr. Arshad Mahmoud. He has been serving within the UN system for 37 years, very recently got the relief, and finally is now enjoying his life here in Islamabad. So thank you very much, Arshad Saab, for sparing your time. The primary question that I posited in my introduction is whether Pakistan is a dysfunctional or partially dysfunctional state.
Thank you very much, Mr. Imtiaz. It's a pleasure to be here today with this think tank and just express my feelings about wherever I have been served so far. Interesting question. Is it dysfunctional or we are heading towards that way or what? Probably I say that it depends, you look from which angle. If you look from the eyes of somebody who has a big villa and number of vehicles parked outside, for him is all looks well, because if any heat comes, he will be very easily escape from the country and go somewhere else. If you go to the poor of the poorest, you will see that person is definitely talking that either we are completely dysfunctioning or he has no right to live in this country. So there is a mixed balance of these things, and we are missing things here. These people below the poverty line do not have easy access for even a simple to get a bag of wheat or atta. That is not possible for him to get it without making efforts left, right, center. And in recent past we have seen quite a number of casualties took place. Nobody wants to go and give the life just to get a bag of wheat or a week of wheat flour. This shows us that there is sort of a dysfunctioning, but we have to come to dig out what makes it dysfunctional.
So that's what I wanted to ask. You keep saying there are many Pakistans within Pakistan. Why do you say this?
Let me elaborate a bit on it. It's very good that you asked me to clear it. Somebody, take an example here, goes with a Pajero, crossing a traffic light. Our policeman is double-minded whether to stop or not to stop, because he thinks that this man must be linked somewhere. This is the biggest problem we have here. When people start drawing lines that where is going to be a problem for this gentleman, and if the same person comes over a motorbike, you will see how they will stop him and all the law will be implemented. That's where it's two Pakistans, or rather a lot of mini Pakistans. You name it, going to the courts, going to the small courts, or even going to sort of any government departments. You have to spend time and time to just get done one small things through these departments. Why it's happening? Whereas the same person with a hi-fi living style, he has his ways and means. Before even he reaches, the things are already done for him. And this is, I'm saying out of my personal experience, that you do not have easy access to the bosses' houses or to their even offices. Let me share with you a very simple example. I was in Sri Lanka. It impresses me a lot. Can we pass or walk into a secretary of the ministry's office easily? No. If somebody says yes, I definitely would like to see. In Sri Lanka, a person at the level of a secretary, same as ours, the peon or anybody outside can walk in, and even if he had 3 or 4 biscuits lying in his plate, that person can easily pick one, or even the lowest staff can come and take one without seeking permission of the secretary. This is how cordially they are linked with each other. And that's why system works.
Is it the inherent Sri Lankan culture or a principle that people have access to administrative authority without any bar?
2 answers could be for this. There is no culture better than our own culture, our religion. That everywhere taught. We are all the same. But there, not only culturally, but this is how they brought up and they were trained that you are here to help those people who are down there. I mean, they don't do it to sit with the small person sitting on the floor. They raise him to the point that he comes equal to your size. That is the biggest.
That's a fantastic analogy, actually.
Absolutely, this is where they are growing well. I mean, take example, they have gone bankrupt and all those things happened there. We are only talking bankruptcy, but I'm sorry to say our Pakistani fellows, including all those ministers and high-fi people, they honestly talking, they do not know what is bankruptcy. Those people have experienced it. When you do not find anything.
So you're talking about an inherent resilience that comes from within the culture rather than from the leadership, which has been proven sort of corrupt and very selfish in Sri Lanka.
This is in their blood. This is how they brought up. I'm not saying that they are the most honest people on the earth. Yes, there are cases. There are cases that there are corruption there. People have made a lot of money out of that country. And that could be a reason also having that country drowning into that bankruptcy, apart from, I mean, of course, the fancy books cover says it's because of Corona, all tourism stopped. But somewhere, if you go deeper, you will find it that this corruption has played a role. And I can evidence it from my experience in Rwanda.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to come to, that you have, as part of your United Nations mission, you travel so much through the flashpoints, political flashpoints, including many countries in Africa. So did you see the same in Africa, what you saw in Sri Lanka, or what you see in Pakistan?
Let me start from here, from Pakistan first. We have lost our other hand, East Pakistan, which became Bangladesh. That year was mourned and everything was very serious and we were thinking about it. Down the line, after 50 years, what did we get a lesson out of it? We are again back to what we were struggling, fighting for a small piece of meat. We are slaughtering the cow. That's what we are doing. We have not learned anything. How I compare with Rwanda? 94, they had a genocide. 1.5 million people. These are the reports officially, and 1.2 is the confirmed reports. But they didn't let it go like this. They have learned a lesson out of it, but they are not living in that genocide. They have learned lessons from that.
But how did this transformation come about? Because it's a country known for bloodshed, for genocide, for a lot of chaos. But then it seems what we've been talking about is that it's a complete transformation. What brought about this transformation in Rwanda?
They have first of all attended the issue of corruption in that country. People, those were killed or slaughtered, they were win. There still remains, and those things are very well done. Children, very young age, goes to the place where they have kept a lot of skulls, bones and all those things to tell them, this is the price we have paid in 94.
Keep reminding them of what?
Those things are still there. The churches where people were slaughtered, their dresses remain there on those benches and things. This is to remind them, but they have taken action, they have built policies. And nobody is above that policy, even it's whoever the rank of that person is, either from forces or from journal. They have stopped corruption. Like you land at the Kigali airport, the first thing you see is a huge signboard, a billboard rather, wipe out corruption from this country.
How do you end the corruption? By prioritizing the rule of law, or is it because of the leadership, honest, dedicated leadership that ensures the rule of law?
It is something which has to come from top to bottom. If your top is clean and the other class down there working, or whoever They know that he is going to be a tough man, he don't like these things. They will definitely exercise the honesty there. And our religion already tells us to be honest. The thing we are missing here is the top doesn't know what the bottom is doing there. All this corruption, one way or the other, is taking place for the very reasons. And we are unable to control. But they control from the top. They put controls. They made policies to address those issues. And also they look after the welfare of their public. I mean, they may not be having a very attractive GDP and all those things, but they are heading towards that direction. They already had a plan by 2030 having a 7% growth rate. It means they have some visions there. They are moving on to that direction. And people living very honestly. A female there can walk at 91. There is no issue there. That's not happening here. Why? We have the law, but where is the implementation? There is no implementation here. Before you even reach to the police station or to the court, you are already awarded a bail that you go back. So definitely I will continue that malpractices or whatever is happening there. There has to be a law without differentiating that who you are. Don't look at the face, look below the face.
So what will it take Pakistan to ensure this rule of law and end corruption?
Well, who will be, it's a case like who will bell the cat. Somebody has to come forward. Like your efforts are there. You have been writing, I've been so impressed, even abroad, I was reading your books. I mean, you have done so much, but one person cannot do it. If we all take one word of Imtiaz Gul, that will take us somewhere, definitely, at least. And you're not saying something which is implemented at the Mars and Moon or those places. These are all on very same piece of land where we all love and live. But how? Somebody has to come forward, have to implement the policies. Even your own son. Let me share a very small example. When I was in Eritrea, Asmara capital, the president of Eritrean son, this is the only country where there are no traffic lights. Let me tell you some informative thing also. He has entered into the roundabout without giving way the vehicle which is coming from the left side because they have other side of steering as compared to us. The police has warned him, and unfortunately the same happened by 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Police didn't spare. They have iron rods and they have beaten him to the point that he has to be taken to the hospital. Was there a call from the president office? Not even been informed that your son is doing that. This is the implementation of law. You don't care if you belongs to a president or a prime minister. The law is the same.
So it's basically indiscriminate implementation, enforcement of
Absolutely.
law. So how does Pakistan ensure this? And a related question is, how do we improve Pakistan's perception abroad?
First of all, it will not be fair to say that we do not have the talented people or the people those who perform, but unnecessary pressures on those people to perform this way. If I give you the liberty that, okay, this is your line, this is what the law says, implement it. Then you should not put your left or right ear what is saying. Then you just go follow the book. That is not happening here. To make a right avenue, we need to really enforce these laws and everything. If you are not paying tax, you are liable, whatever the law says, you should be taken on the right, that's it. You should not be spared for that because you know the chairman FBI or you are XYZ. That is not going to help us. It has to be a very straightforward action. To me, there should be no mercy, although our religion tells us about mercy. But where we are today, the mercy will not work here. Somebody who is doing a mistake or committing a crime must be taken on task. He must be punished for that. And that will be a lesson which will go down around the public. Lovely people living in this country, lovely lands. I mean, let me give you an example of Rwanda, a country of the 1,000 hills and 1,000 smiles. This is their one of the slogan. If you go to their immigration side, it is there, written there. I was wondering that can we find some of those big thinkers and people to take out a name like this for Pakistan also. We have lovely everything. Starting from the north, go to the south. We should bring also a name like this. We are not marketing ourselves. We are the best. According to my visit around the globe, whatever I have done so far, I have interacted with those people. I'm not saying they are bad. They are wonderful.
But how do you market Pakistan in the kind of current circumstances?
Our ambassadors in the embassies, they should be tied up with the chair and listen to the problems of the people living there. It's not when you reach their office, either his staff will be telling in a meeting or he's gone on a mission. And that mission could be the family members around there taking for a just visit to that place or this place. It depends which country you are. I personally experienced those things, but let's not beat the line when the snake is already passed. So I'm trying to say, market ourselves very well. Give importance to those Pakistanis who are in that countries. Listen to them, their problem. We are not trillions in that. Even if you attend 10 persons a day in a month, you have a number already attended. From there, this word of mouth should travel to the locals of that country. That's where they see that, look, this country is like this. Their people has been taken care of by their bosses and all those responsible for to take care of those people. But that is not happening. Here, you continue bang, break your head towards the wall. Lucky enough, one evening, you will be listened, otherwise nothing. And this is how can we go further?
Absolutely right. I mean, there are plenty of opportunities, openings that Pakistan can exploit. Pakistan can market itself in a much better way, given that the leadership is sincere, dedicated, and has a vision. That has been probably Pakistan's problem, and that's why the Pakistani perception abroad is negative, not really positive. And also internally, the country still is facing multiple governance issues. But as Arshad Mahmoud Saab said, given good, dedicated, honest leadership, this country can also turn itself around the way Rwanda, Eritrea, all those flashpoints which used to be known just for chaos, for bloodshed, they have turned themselves around only because they got good leadership, honest leadership, who ensured the certainty of enforcement of rule of law. Rule of law then basically is the linchpin for progress, economic progress, as well as political stability. Thank you very much, Arshad.